Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast Modern Couples, What Your Therapist Never Told You. My name is Rick Miller.
I'm Lilian Borges.
And we're both therapists who love working with couples, and we're thrilled that you're with us today. Today's episode, drum roll, is It's Not Only About the Chores.
It's not only about the chores.
So what do you think?
Yes, I think that we have couples that come to us and they keep fighting, arguing about the chores, and it's session after session. Do you have those couples?
Not only do I have those couples, as I was thinking about recording today, I thought we could spend the entire experience of couples therapy talking about the chores and not getting into anything else. Because what couple doesn't argue about not wiping the sink the right way or not using the sponge properly or not loading the dishwasher right? It's just a part of every single relationship.
I don't know about that.
Really?
I think that yes, if we are stuck in power struggle, it needs to be done a specific way. It needs to be done, and we keep stuck in the power struggle. We are saying we don't care about the relationship as much as being right. It is important for me to be right.
I think that I hate to admit it, but maybe you are right now. That sometimes in the moment, the very thing that's causing the power struggle is minimal in nature, but in that moment feels like the most important thing in the world. And that sometimes clients come to couples therapy saying, see what they do, see, and that's the nature of the struggle. But I also think about my friends that I get together with that are in couples. Somehow the conversation between couples always ends up at that factor. Who's the neat one? Who's the messy one? Who doesn't wipe out the sink properly?
Well, so I think that you're hanging out with gay couples.
Who are very clean.
Very clean gay couples. Couples come to us wanting a referee. And I tell them, I'm not a referee, I'm a couples therapist. And I tell them, who decides how you're going to decide how your money, time, and energy, how your resources are spent, and how you are going to decide this together, right? And otherwise, those details, how do you wipe the sink? And these are details that will cause you to be in a power struggle, because a lot of times they don't make decisions together, and then it causes problem. So if it is more in a heterosexual couples, I would see more of the women. Of course, this is a huge generalization, but the women is more in charge of the households and the kids, and she asks for help. And sometimes she works and does all that. And then she gets resentful, and the male just says, oh, yeah, I will take the garbage, and just makes a decision to get rid of the conflict. And in that way, you don't erase the conflict, you just perpetuate it.
It's funny because I'm working with a couple, heterosexual couple, and the mother/wife complains that her husband does too much. He does too much with the kids. He does too much in the house. And she feels like she's being stripped of her womanly duties.
That is interesting.
Yeah, she wants that. Whereas many other women will come to couples therapy and say, I'm doing too much. I'm doing all of the emotional labor and the physical labor in the household, and I can't keep up.
Oh, that is interesting. I would love to be a fly on the wall and see what are their real problems.
Right.
What are the problems? But yeah.
He thinks that she's not competent enough, and he jumps in and does all of it.
So again, the two of them should decide how things are going to be done and should be good for the two of them.
Yes. And so when it comes to the chores, couples need to figure out, this is my thought about it, couples need to figure out a plan.
Yes, and that's exactly, they should make a plan, right? Who does what? how it should be done. And of course, I don't expect them to sit down 15 minutes and have this clean and no, but have a discussion in a way that you don't accuse, that you don't say you're a neat freak, you don't do this right, you're incompetent, because this will not take you anywhere.
And yet, couples are so fixated on that, doing that, accusing each other. The other partner isn't doing it right or isn't doing it good enough. And of course, you can probably figure out which one I am in the couple. But
yes,
when you divvy out the chores and the responsibilities, there's a lot. You were referring to bill paying, household maintenance, all sorts of things. My suggestion for couples is you don't have to do it the way that men are supposed to do it and women are supposed to do it. You can do it based on what are your strengths? What are the things that you enjoy doing that are the chores of the household? And what about divvying them up that way as opposed to this is man's work and this is woman's work?
exactly. And also, don't be too focused on details, right? Take a step back and think what is really important. Is my relationship with my partner and getting things done and organized is important thing, or it is that I am right, that things are done my way, that things should be the way that I think that they are. Because if you do, then you're going to get into trouble.
Well, I think in some instances, people think both, that their way is the right way and that they need to be in charge. And they continue to put their partners down over and over and over again for any multitude of reasons, some of which may be about the chores and some of which may not be about the chores, but a different dynamic.
Well, when we are in conflict and we are angry about things, yes, we are going to start talking with anyone, but more so with our partner in an accusatory, in a blaming way. But it is when we are calmer and we start thinking straight, then we take a more calmer approach. For those who always think that they are right and only right, and even when they are in a calm state, then they have other problems
They do.
in their hands.
Yeah, and we do too as a couples therapist. But I want to get back to your point because I think it's really important, which is about our own state of mind, meaning there are moments where certain things based on your own state of mind don't get to you as much. And then there are other moments, if you're agitated, if you're stressed out, where those very same things feel like the end of the world. And I just want to highlight this because I think it's up to us as individuals to pay attention to what am I feeling? What is this really about? Should I address this right now or should I wait? So I'm suggesting that if people are in a stressed out or angry state, it may not be the best time to address the issues of the chores because it's only going to result in a fight.
Yes. So you're saying two important things. One is self-regulation, which is start thinking about what is this important to me? How do I say this to my partner in a nice way? How to calm myself down, give perspective. And this is self-regulation. This is right, me going in my wise mind in seeing this with a perspective. The second is understanding that my partner do not have the same point of view that I do. Of course, my partner is going to think that he is right. Of course, I am thinking that I'm right. And I know this. We
Right.
all think that we are right. And that's why they want to go to a therapist to tell them who is the right one.
Well, of course, to expose the other person's flaws.
Exactly. But, the point is we all think that we are right. And so going and talking to my partner, knowing that he thinks that is right. So I will not try to impose my view on them, but we are trying to solve this problem together. So it is kind of a shift internally of how we talk to our partner.
So let's think about shift. And the word that comes into my mind that's a really important one for couples is respect. That pivoting away from being right and instead focusing on respect makes a world of difference, because sometimes you just have to do things that you don't really want to do out of respect for the partner, the well-being of the couple, the well-being of the family. And sometimes respect is doing what they want. Sometimes respect is honoring the needs. And a little bit goes a long way.
Yes. Respect is important. Also, being able to hold opposites, right? Knowing that I don't like my partner right now, but I do love him. Not losing track of that you actually in a relationship, a love relationship, and those things are going to happen. Conflict are going to happen. And so how do I don't lose track of love that I have? And when we love, we say things in a different way, do things that will keep that. So, for instance, I will not rush and say the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm careful. I am going to have important conversations when I have some time, when I'm rested, when I am in my best. So I have the best results. And yes, of course, respect is part of it.
So put that into chore language as well.
Chore language, yes.
Yeah. That was a question.
Oh, that's what a
I'm
question.
asking you to do it. Don't sit back comfortably.
I didn't understand that was a request.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is the approach of a healthy couple.
Okay.
So I'm saying put that into chore language.
Love, I want to talk to you about something that is bothering me. Is now a good time? If not, then so let's set a time when it is a good time. And then it comes to me that we are not in the same boat about chores. And I do things and that you do that again, or things are not done. We haven't sit down and discussed how we can do this. Should we hire someone to do the cleaning for us at least once a month? What do you think? So it is different. I'm not attacking the person.
Not
I'm
at all.
attacking the problem. I'm attacking the problem. We need to tackle this problem.
Great. And being the recipient of that, it was easy to hear. My hackles weren't going up because you weren't accusing me of anything. You were simply bringing up something that you would like to work on. My example, which is a lot shorter than yours, is asking a partner, would you mind doing it X? Would you mind doing it that way? Or next time, could you? Rather than rolling your eyes, stamping your feet, or yelling at them for never or always ...
That is good if you want to have something done at the moment. But if you use that over and over and over again, I can see some problems.
A little resentment.
Yes. One of them being resentment on the partner who thinks that they are always the one that has to make the decisions and ask the other and things like that. And second is the partner who is being asked sometimes feel like a boy or a child being asked by a parent. And sometimes that causes the child within to be rebellious and do it in not an optimal way or forgetting to do it.
It's also complicated because nothing is easy. And that's the bottom line, that people think that falling in love is wonderful and grand. And then suddenly you're managing a household together. There's a lot that needs to be done. And it's constant negotiation.
Yes. But they don't talk about it. They make decisions themselves and they keep track of what they're doing.
Continual score.
Yes. Or they keep track of what your partner is not doing. So they keep a very not good score in their heads and they make decisions together. Oh, it's my job to put the garbage out, or it's my job to do X, Y, or Z. But they don't communicate that to the partner. I remember when I moved here, I thought that was very interesting that my husband decided that his job was to put the garbage out, which was not what I expected in Brazil. and do some, and he expected me to do X, Y, or Z. And we didn't talk about it. But I thought that it was interesting, the cultural part of it as well, that here in the US, men, a lot of times, is expected to do X, Y, or Z.
They do the
and
garbage.
The women, yes, the garbage. Who decided that? I
Right.
did not know. I came here to this country. I did not know that men were decided. Did they have a reunion and meeting and then decided?
Apparently, in the Neanderthal days, it was decided that men do the garbage.
I guess.
I want to shift gears for a moment and bring up 3 very important letters, ADD. And we will do our own episode on ADD at a later date. But one of the things that comes up frequently for couples as a source of tension, at least the ones that I work with, is there may be a partner that has ADD or ADHD, and it's a state of disorganization that is not intentional, that is not done to torture a partner. And so what I do with partners with ADD is that I will have them read information on the internet. I'll have them read books on ADD so they recognize that their partner struggles with doing chores or doing them in a particular way isn't out of spite.
No, it is not. On the other hand, it is for the couple to decide how they are going to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we are going to have an episode on ADD, so I will not, start talking here about how to handle and how to manage that with the couple. And sometimes the two of them has ADD, and if they have kids, guess what? So that becomes a different problem. But a lot of couples nowadays, a lot of words that pertains to the psychological or the psychology are being used very loosely.
Yes, overused.
And ADD is one of them. Oh, it's my ADD. Oh, you are a neat freak. It's my ADD. I don't like being.
Okay, so you're obsessive compulsive and I have ADD.
Exactly, right? So use terms that are, pertain to our field in a very loose way to just justify or their problems and to not do anything.
I think that's a great point when it comes to chores, because if we're so busy diagnosing ourselves or diagnosing our partners, then we're getting a free pass or not giving them a free pass. And ultimately, like you were saying, it comes to communication. How do you sort out the responsibilities and figure out who does what, who wants to do what, who doesn't want to do what, and is that okay?
So what are the takeaways from today?
I think one of the takeaways for me is to really think about what makes my partner happy and to be respectful and considerate in that way. Instead of focusing on what they aren't doing, again, think about your own frame of mind. If things are bothering you at a particular moment, wait a while, see how you feel later, and think about what makes your partner happy. Simultaneously, how do you approach your partner with things that need to be done, things that you want done, in a way that is respectful and positive rather than defensive or angry, including body language too.
Yes. For me is make agreements about how to, the couple needs to decide together how to employ their resources, money, time, and energy. It needs to be good for the two of them. Do not get stuck in power struggles. Remember that you care more about the relationship than being right.
I love that.
Me too. And then don't avoid conflict. Talk about it. Don't just go along because you do not want to have a conflict, don't have a fight, because that perpetuates the fight, doesn't erase it. Just don't avoid it. Talk about it.
And if you're struggling with these things, then go to your local therapist, like you or me or anyone else.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's it for today. Thanks as always for joining us for Modern Couples, What Your Therapist Never Told You. And we will see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Take care.